Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Google Hangout. This Hangout is hosted by myself, Anna, Beverly, and Amy. Today we will be talking about the tools ThinkPort, Apollo, Formule, Clickers, and Ant. To get us started, I will be discussing ThinkPort today. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Prezi. So ThinkPort. What is ThinkPort? ThinkPort is designed by PBS and Maryland Public Television, MPT, to design learning resources for Maryland educators that are aligned with the state standards. They provide standard-based websites and learning activities for pre-K through high school. They also offer online professional development training sessions for teachers and resources for family to build bridges between school and home. Educators can subscribe to the MPT Education News e-newsletter for weekly updates. So I'm going to go ahead and take you guys to the ThinkPort website so we can explore that. This is the homepage, and there are a lot of resources directly on the homepage that I'm going to talk about that are great to keep in mind. For starters, right here takes us to the Literacy for All Grades tools. There's a graphic organizers and an annotated tool. For the graphic organizers, you just click Go to Graphic Organizers, and it will take you to this page, where you find graphic organizers for anything from character maps, compare and contrast, hypothesizing, plot diagrams, story maps, timelines, Venn diagrams, and many more. You can sort through those, and there's a short description following it, and then you can download it directly to your desktop for free. This is an awesome resource and can be applied for any grade. Definitely something to keep in mind. The annotated tool is really cool and was something new to myself. The annotated tool uses ThinkPort's annotator tool to analyze text and build writing skills. You simply paste in your text, select your virtual markers, and have students annotate the passages. Students submit their work and receive your feedback virtually. This is a great way to get students engaged and excited about reading because they can do it all through technology and online, and it's just a really great experience for them, and you are the teacher are in complete control and also get all feedback directly to your desktop. So it's a great tool to consider and something new to try in your English language arts classes. So if we go back, we also see next to our Literacy for All Grades is the newsletter that I was talking about, MPT Education News. You can subscribe to the newsletter to see what's happening in education at Maryland Public Television, find recommendations for resources, professional development, and opportunities and updates on local events. So you can click right here to go to subscribe, or you can click go to archives, and it will take you through their past newsletters and email alerts. So for example, here's one from October 5th of this year, the ThinkPort newsletter for autumn activities. If you click on that, it will pull up the e-newsletter. And it's all about the different events going on for the fall in Maryland. So it talks about National Bullying Prevention Month, Columbus Day, Halloween, Poe, and a focus on poetry. Also has event reminders at the bottom. And of course, since October is Halloween, they've even designed a special website specifically for Halloween, which can be really fun for any extra time you have in the class if students finish early, or something to send home the link to parents if they want their child to access it at home for an educational but fun resource for kids. So it has all different sorts of games that are related to Halloween, and there's even a little parent section for games, treats, and costumes. Might be fun to share with parents and be really helpful for your parent resource page on your website. So that is the archives, and you can go through those just to get a feel for the e-newsletter be something you would want to subscribe to, or if you want to reference something from a past newsletter, look back on that. You can do that there. If you scroll down the homepage, you'll see down here there are news and announcements. This is different things going on around Maryland that are good for kids and education. For example, on October 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Annapolis, Maryland, you can join MPT, Historic Annapolis, and PNC Bank for Be My Neighbor Day. Bring the kids and grandkids and help them learn why it's important to give back to others. So they always post there different events going on around Maryland that If you can take your kids to, that'd be great, but if not, it would just be awesome for you to share that with parents and kids, maybe in your weekly newsletter or a child's planner. You can also get connected with ThinkPort through Twitter, which they have their Twitter feed up right here. They are generally pretty active on their Twitter, so if you are on Twitter, that would be a great way to keep in touch. They also have all their social media links up here: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, and another link to subscribe to their newsletter. Now, there is so much more even beyond the homepage. If we go over here, it takes us to learning resources, and we will select for elementary school. So it takes us to the elementary school page for ThinkPort's digital learning resources for the elementary grades, and it's broken up by sections. So here we have a literacy, math, science, social studies, STEM, digital literacy, digital tools, and then certain resources for teachers, including literacy and math. So I'll scroll back up so we can explore some of these. If we go to elementary school literacy, for example, right now, ThinkPort has different games offered that students can play for extra enrichment, or again, if they finish early. There are several ones right now focusing on wordplay, synonyms, and you can explore those and share those with your students as well, or have those up on a computer or iPad in the classroom. When we go to math, they have a really cool program up right now that I want to share with you guys, and it's all for out-of-school time math. This one is specific for grades K through 3. These activities were developed by MTT for PBS Kids After School Adventures. So these are perfect for after school, winter break, summer break, any time out of school, to give your students something to work on that they will still be excited about and engaged in, and a great way to incorporate technology. So each one includes an activity plan for teachers to follow that gives the resources needed. The More About Math just provides deeper understanding the background knowledge that goes into this activity. And then what's really helpful is each activity also includes a parent letter to send home, so parents know what to expect from this, why their students are completing this, and what it's all about. So they have that already made up for you, which is awesome. And they all focus on, each module has a different focus that you can choose from. So then there's also science, which includes different videos and games, as well as social studies. But I want to focus on the STEM. STEM is still something new in somewhat new in education, so it's kind of hard to find really great resources for it sometimes online. But ThinkPort has their own elementary school STEM section, and these are actually modules that students can work through. They're not just a game or one video. It's a module that students can work through completely independently for a STEM enrichment activity. For example, this one is, are our homes built for severe weather? Students learn about severe weather such as hurricanes, blizzards, tornadoes, heat waves, and excessive rain, and they use an online tool to develop weatherproofing solutions to protect homes. So they get to learn through the module and then complete an activity, all virtually. And it says right here that this is specific for grade 3, but we'll also see there are ones for kindergarten, grade 5, and that is the STEM section. The digital literacy is also something I really wanted to highlight. This interactive resource uses animations, websites, and a quiz to help students learn how to evaluate the reliability of information found on the internet. So we talk a lot about the benefits of incorporating technology into education, but we also have to recognize potential setbacks and potential problems. It is huge that we educate our students on how to be safe and make smart decisions using the web. And I'm just so happy to see that ThinkPort has recognized this, and they have created this whole module that students can work through all about web smarts. So you can see it is designed by ThinkPort, but also Maryland State Department of Education has approved this, so teachers know that it is valid, it is safe, and good for students to use. I highly recommend this to be incorporated into classrooms. And then for the digital tools, there's the annotator tool that I showed you guys earlier, so you can also access that from this page. And then there's specific resources for teachers. So right now they have ones for literacy and math. If we click on Go to Literacy Resources for Teachers for our example, there are different modules and videos just for teachers to help them engage in professional development and always stay up to date on instruction practices and improving their own teaching. So for example, this one is all about creating text-dependent questions for the classroom. This short, self-paced professional development module demonstrates a clear process for generating text-dependent questions for use with literature and informational text at all grade levels. So it's a great, just real short module to work through for teachers of any grade level to help improve their own practices. Or here we have YouTube videos for on a focus of close reading or the art of writing arguments. And again, digital tools, they have the annotator tool listed because teachers use that to design different activities for kids. So this is all about the resources for teachers. At math, again, is the same thing. Another module or a short YouTube video to watch. So great resources for teachers to check out and keep up to date on and check back just to see what new has been added. Which brings me to the online courses that ThinkPort offers. They do offer professional development options for teachers, including graduate credit courses, MSD CPD credit courses, and MSD clock hour courses. Everything is through the Maryland State Department of Education, PBS, CTE, and ThinkPort. So for example, if we go to graduate credit courses, we'll see it goes into all the details, the about, the fees, any questions, and then down here tells us the courses being offered, and you can also view a syllabus. So right now, for example, we have math and everyday life for grades K through 5, differentiating math lessons for a range of learners, and digital lesson planning for deferring learning styles, and so many more. So you can browse through those, and those do go for graduate credit for Maryland State teachers. We also have MSD CPD credit courses. So right now you can see they give you the title, the credits, dates of it being offered, a syllabus to download, and whether the enrollment is open or closed. Right now being offered, we have teaching phonemic awareness and phonics for pre-K through 3, differentiating instruction to accommodate learning styles, and even one on digital citizenship. So there's and many more that you can browse through. So these are all professional development opportunities to earn actual credit, and it's definitely something to look into as we all want to better ourselves in education. And then this tab is all about the education community. So there's a section for family, which again would be something great to share with your parents of your classroom. The newsletter archive that we went through earlier, you can also access that right here. And the education features, sometimes they upload additional resources there that you can always check out. So that is ThinkPort's website. And here are my references. You can click on through that Google Doc. And that's ThinkPort, everyone. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. So you said that it is directed towards for like Maryland educators, but I'm assuming that other educators from different states could also find like really helpful resources from this website also, right?
Yes, absolutely. As far as the professional development goes, that will be different. Like they couldn't necessarily earn credit, but they can check out any of the resources for students or like the literacy and math resources for teachers I showed you guys. They could always watch those clips just to better themselves. And then the newsletter might not be quite as great because they'll talk a lot about events going on in Maryland and things specific to Maryland residents, but all the other resources can definitely be used by teachers of any state.
Yeah, I like the aspect of the newsletters because like it could like have like students and their parents like come and get together and like have a sense of community, like getting out there and like seeing their community and getting involved. So I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool to see something specific just for Maryland in that respect.
And I had a question as well.
Okay.
What would happen if, say, one of your students didn't have internet access at home? Is there still a way for them to access this resource, or would it just be strictly in school?
It would probably be more restricted to just in school because there's only so much, that we can do. But I would try and let those students have additional time during the school day to the best that I can. And then anything as far as the announcements go or anything that's found in the e-newsletter, I could send that as a hard copy home so their parents still find out about those events and different things going on without having to access the internet.
All right, I agree. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move over to two tools that I did, which is Plickers and Ant. And let me go ahead and pull up my screen share. There we go. All right. So let's start with, what is Plickers? Plickers is a tool to collect real-time formative assessment data without the hassle of paper grading. This is done through the use of QR codes that are scanned through the teacher's iPad or iPhone. The Plickers provides the QR codes on their website for free, and the larger amounts that you can download you do have to buy, but the smaller amounts for a class of 20 are free. The results are scanned and shown almost immediately on the teacher's device. And let's go ahead and pull up the website. Here we go. This is plickers.com. And as you can see, you can download it on the Google Android Play or on the Apple iPhone store. And you can tailor instruction with an instant feedback. So teachers can automatically see if their students are understanding what is happening, and if they do, they can move on. If not, the teachers can spend even more time on it. And I'll go ahead and show you the cards. These are the standard Plickers card set, and you can see them for sale on Amazon for the more advanced card sets. So for the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, those card sets you do have to buy, but the standards are completely free. And here are some frequently asked questions. You can use the same card set for multiple classes, and you can print these cards, but you don't really want to laminate them since that shiny material can throw off the results. And each card represents something different. So how can we use Plickers in the classroom? You can use Plickers in the classroom to take a quick test to assess the student's knowledge, get instant feedback, quickly get a formative assessment data, and it allows teachers to move on to the next subject quickly, or they know if they need to elaborate on the current topic. This type of tool is also great for classrooms with very low technology, since it is really easy to use. All you need is the main screen and your iPhone, iPad, tablet, whatever you have. The downside to this tool is that teachers are limited to multiple choice questions or true or false questions. So you can't really see if students are critically thinking about a topic. And it does take a lot of time to create the online assessments, and it does take a little bit of time to scan each answer. So in some cases, it might just be better to do a paper pencil, but in other cases, it's also great to use Plickers. You can use Plickers in almost any subject, whether it's mathematics, reading, or science. In math, you can perform a quick assessment to analyze the student's knowledge. With reading, you can see if students are properly comprehending the text. And in science, you can use true or false questions regarding science projects or facts and see if students understand the directions or whatever you're teaching that day. I have not seen Plickers in my classroom, excuse me, but I have been in low technology classes, and I do find that this would be great for those types of classrooms. However, this being said, I would not recommend this tool for early elementary students. I would say that maybe third grade at the youngest would be good for this tool, simply because of how complicated it is to understand a QR code. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to Ant. And Ant is a video annotation tool. And I'll go ahead and pull up that website. This is my page and I'll go ahead and take you to the home page. This is my page where I've already done 2 video annotations. And these videos are actually viewable once you make them public. So I'll go ahead and click on, why does the earth have layers? And I'm not going to go ahead and play it simply because we don't have the time for it today. Excuse me. But with Ant, you can create questions through this video. So I can play the video, pause it at a certain time, create a question, and then it'll pop up once we play it. So we'll go ahead and go to this. Once this section plays, then this question will pop up. And students can answer the question once they see it, and it allows them to quickly connect the question with the answer through the video or through whatever tool that you're using. And here's a quick screenshot of the video that I just showed you. And as you can see, I have two other questions here. And these little bars represent when the questions are being asked. And so it's really easy to see when the questions are coming up so students can prepare for them. Now, how can we use Ant in the classroom? Ant would be really well for assigning homework. Students can watch the videos and respond to them for the next class period. And they can bring their answers, they can write them down, bring them in, and turn them in that way. Ant would also be very well for projects. Students can make their own videos and annotate them to outline important features and ask their own classmates questions. They can also find videos and annotate them and share them with other classmates to further discussion in the classroom. Some downfalls for this tool is that maybe younger students will have a harder time understanding the programming, and they might have a harder time finding proper videos for this program. And students who don't have internet at home won't be able to access Ant on their own, so they would be restricted to the classroom, which can prove to be a real challenge, especially if you want to use it to assign homework. Now, there are multiple ways to use Ant in different subjects: reading, math, science, just like Plickers. In reading, teachers can find animated videos of their stories or even read-alouds on YouTube and outline important key questions in the video, pause, talk about the question, talk about what's going on in the video, then keep going with the story. In mathematics, teachers can find videos detailing the process of a math problem, and they can annotate the video with the process. This can help students find solutions to problems that they might be struggling with. And with science, you can do just like what I did, where you find a science video about the layers of the earth. And during important features during the video, you can pause it, create a question, have students respond. I have not seen Ant in my placement. However, I would love to implement this tool. It is accessible for all grade levels. Some grades just might not be able to annotate on their own. Older grade levels could annotate the video on their own and generate their own critical thinking questions, and teachers can annotate the video for younger grade levels. This tool is easy to use once the students figure out how to annotate the videos, and Ant is also great for low technology classrooms just like Plickers, since almost all schools have a laptop cart with internet. Ant would also be really great for homework if all of your students have internet access, and I would implement it by doing online stories or create class projects through Ant. And it would be a really fun way to incorporate technology into the classroom. And here are my resources. I have different blogs that talk about Plickers and talk about Ant. So if you want to go and review and see the reviews, there's different links here, and also the links for Plickr and Ant. And all right, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. How would you compare Plickers to Kahoot?
Plickers is a more complex version of Kahoot, I think. With Kahoot, all the students would have a tablet, and they would be looking at their tablet and they would pick the answer. With Plickers, you're using paper cards, and you're holding up a paper card to show your answer, which has been scanned. So Kahoot is almost more instant than Plickers, but Plickers is better for classrooms with students who are older or a classroom that doesn't have as much technology as other classrooms.
Okay, and just one other question. With Ant, how would you say, like, is it fairly simple to learn to use? Like, a lot of teachers sometimes are hesitant about using new technology. Like, do you think Ant is something simple to learn?
I feel like it is very simple to learn. When you first sign up, you kind of go through this tutorial process, and you find a video and you click a video, and then you just kind of annotate whatever. And after that, I was able to really understand it. It's actually
Okay.
pretty easy to understand. I just don't know if younger students would be able to understand it,
Mm-hmm.
simply because it requires a lot of critical thinking and a lot of understanding, like, the technology behind it. But
Right.
honestly, if the students had instruction on how to use it, they would be fine. Teachers can probably learn how to use this within 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, great.
So you would definitely say like a plus for both Plickers and Ant is that you don't need the other like resources for each student. Like
Yeah.
you don't need computers for each student for the class. So like that's really helpful because there are a lot of schools that don't have enough resources for all the students. So I definitely think that it would definitely be very beneficial for any teacher to have that.
Oh,
And also it takes a lot of time also to transition to get kids like, oh, let's pass out the iPads. Like in my placements, I've seen them like pass out the iPads, and it takes like 10 minutes almost because you take all that time. Whereas you don't really have to do that. You can pass out with Plickers, you can just pass out the codes in no time. And I think it's a lot of time saving also. So,
yes, I
like,
would have to agree with that.
all right. Well, I will go ahead and start my screen share, and I will be discussing Apollo and Formule. So, Apollo is an app that teachers can use for an interactive lesson. This is a different way for students to participate in class lessons, and I believe that they'll be more engaged. Um, Another great aspect of Apollo is that you can go home and continue and finish the lesson. So, if students have that access to internet or computers at home, they can go back and they can finish their lesson or even like review it if need be. And then it also, Apollo allows teachers to modify their lessons when need to be. So if they're teaching it um, in front of the class, they could quickly modify it. It's really easy to use. They can also, like, Apollo will automatically convert your existing resources, so PDFs, PowerPoints, docs, and many more, into a format that can be used on this so you can use it for your students' lessons. And then it also allows you to see your students during the lesson. So, I mean, if Dakota is supposed to be working, you'd be able to, like, say, that you need to start working on this, or if Ian's not supposed to be on there at the time, you can tell him that he's not supposed to be there. And then you can also quiz students in real time. This way you can go back and review what some of the students might have said or might have gotten wrong. So if you have them quiz, you can see what students got what wrong, and you can possibly review that to help them better understand what the lesson was. And then again, students can access Apollo from everywhere. This allows them to replay lessons for extra review on a topic. Students can also take notes on the topic on their device if need be. And then another aspect that I thought was really interesting is that it allows students to ask questions if they have them, and the teacher can get back to them when they have a chance. So I think that this was also another great aspect for a student that might be a little bit more shy in the class and is scared to raise their hand and ask a question. They can go on this tool and maybe just ask her kind of in private, but not really, because of course you can still see it. So, and then we'll also just go here. And then this is just the link to Apollo, need be. And then Apollo's effects on student learning. Apollo can help students develop communication skills through, they get to ask the questions about a lesson or topic, intellectual flexibility. Students are used to watching or listening to a teacher give a lesson in front of them or on the board or the smart board, but Apollo allows students to receive information in a new way. It makes them open to new experiences and environments. And also, depending on the lessons, of course, it helps them develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And then the classroom experience. I am placed in a third grade class this semester. In the classroom, there are iPads for every student. I believe that Apollo would be a very useful tool for my mentor teacher to use. The students have worked with iPads on a few different occasions, and they have seemed to really enjoy it and were engaged learners when using them. And then an obstacle that I think you might face with Apollo is that schools do not have enough funding to provide every student with a computer or iPad. The school that I'm placed in is lucky enough to have that, but you're not going to see that in every school. And then allowing students to receive and replay the lesson anywhere, which includes the child's home, is a great aspect, although it can be an obstacle because not every student has access to a computer or at home. All right. So now we're going to move on to Formule. Formule is an online tool that teachers can use to create forms or surveys. If you sign up for Formule, you get the first 10 forms for free. And it also gives you an opportunity to take a test drive to see if you like this tool. So if you click on the form builder, Formule gives you step-by-step instructions, and you can add fields. So you'll see this. You'll be able to add fields right there. It shows you here. And then here's the create a form. And then go to notifications. Formule will send you notifications when students answer a question that you have set up on the form or they take the survey. And then we'll go down to reports. Formule will gather the data from your survey and put it in a report for you, which is a great aspect. It saves a lot of time because you want to maybe have the data or the statistics that you gathered from your form. So it'll just put it in a report for you right there. So that's definitely a time saver. So go ahead. And then that's Formule. And then here's the link to Formule. So its effect on student learning. I believe that Formule can help students develop critical thinking skills. With Formule, teachers can create a variety of open-ended questions that the students need to think about and answer in these surveys to get their teachers would ask students' opinions in these forms or surveys. So, and then problem-solving skills. Students may need to find the best possible answer for questions. Communication skills. Formula allows students to write down answers or opinions to questions on forms or surveys that the teacher makes. And then classroom experience. I have not seen Formula used in my class in any classroom that I've been in, but I do believe that it would be very beneficial for my mentor teacher because she thinks it's very important to get students' feedback, which me personally, I think that that's a great aspect for a teacher to have. You want to get students' feedback or opinions about what they're learning, if they like how a lesson went, if they didn't, what about the class that they're enjoying so far. You just want them to really be a part of your classroom environment and make it a community pretty much. So I think that that's a great aspect to have. And then obstacles you may face. An obstacle for Formule is that giving a form or survey for students to fill out may present some challenges for students. The print aspect of Formule can be difficult for some students. They may need to be provided with audio or visual forms. So some students just need that. So that kind of brings you back to the universal design of learning. And then these are my references that I have. So you can just look at those. All right. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
So you could use both of these for like any subject, right? Both
Yeah,
Apollo
definitely.
and okay. Have you made?
No, I have not.
fairly simple, like it doesn't require, I'm trying to think of the word. Like teachers could simply go on and kind of follow the links and go through it and make their form fairly
Yes.
simply. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, and it allows the first like 10 for free. So you can like kind of test drive and see like really how, and then
See
there
what-
is that test drive option, so you can like test it and see if you really do like it and you want to use it in your
And how your
classroom.
students react to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I only have one question, which is for the tool Apollo. Is it relatively easy for students to understand? And with the annotation, is that easy to understand as well?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Just going through it and like looking at it, it definitely is pretty easy to use, and it like has like instructions that like the teacher can use, and I think even like relay it to the students so that they have a better understanding of it. So I definitely think it is a pretty easy to use tool for teachers and even students. So
Good.
Okay, great. Any more thoughts, guys?
No, I have none.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us for this hangout. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something about all of our tools. Bye.
Bye.